So, are you one of those people who have a big heart? They say like, "Oh, you wear your heart on your sleeve. You have a big heart. You love everybody. You're there for everybody." And it's just a part of you that you've accepted, right? Well, guess what? This video's for you. And if you came across this video, it's for you. And if you know anybody else with a big heart, it's for them too. Share it. Thank you. So, I'm gonna get right into it. You already know. I'm Lexi. So, what came across my mind when I was starting to think about doing this video, right, was the fact that yes, there are some of us out here who have very big hearts and love to love and love, right? But what we have to realize is when we have a heart like that, we have to learn how to love what loves us, right? The thing that us big hearted people lack growing up, because it starts when we're young, right? Yes, it starts when we're young, so it's just a part of you and it will always be a part of you. Yes, it's okay. But in having that, we have to learn that it's two things that we need to have. It is two things, two, that we need to learn how to have. And that is boundaries and non negotiables. If you have a big heart, you have to be a person who has strong boundaries and non negotiables. Because if you don't, you will always get dealt the short end of the stick. Everybody knows the saying, having a big heart don't get you loved, it gets you used. It does. And there's nothing wrong with you. You're completely amazing the way that you are, having a big heart and all. Like, don't change that for nobody. Don't let situations that hurt you change you from having a big heart. And if you have a big heart, like you say you have a big heart, nine times out of 10, it's not going to stop you from having a big heart. It's just that you're going to have to learn how to be a person who has strong boundaries and non-negotiables and stick to it, even when it hurts. Even when you like a little something that they got going on over there, you got to be like, nope. Even when you love your job and you love going in there and doing and helping everybody, um, sorry, time to go. Catch me tomorrow. I'm off the clock. Like it's gonna have to be. Even when you want to tell your family or your family, oh, can you do this for us? Can you? Sorry, no, I'm sorry. Learn how to say no too. That's another thing. People with big hearts, it's because you grew up being a people pleaser. And I won't say it's because you grew up being a people pleaser, but in a sense, yes. But in a sense, no. It's like you became a people pleaser, which caused you to have a big heart, or which was a reflection of you having a big heart, should I say? And you know, yes, it has a lot to do with backstories of that, being a people pleaser and everything. But nowadays, we can't be that way. We can't be a people pleaser because being a people pleaser, can I get it out? Being a people pleaser will not allow you to be your authentic self. It won't. Like, you will be trying to be who it is that you need to be for everybody else but for yourself. don't want to do that. Ah, And if you find yourself doing that, and if you've been, if you thought about what I just said, and you know that that's what you're doing, hold up, swole up, like telling you, you don't want to do that because you're gonna find yourself living out an identity that you don't like. You're gonna find yourself being someone that you don't like, that you don't love. So in order to love, it's like on the path of self-love. In order to love yourself, you have to be the authentic version of who you are. And in order to be the authentic version of who you are, you have to tell yourself the truth. You have to live in that truth. You have to tell others the truth and stop creating illusions for other people. And in that, and in doing that, and, you know, being that big hearted person that you are, you're going to need to know that you're finally in alignment with being authentically who you are. And when you're being authentically who you are, now that's where you want to be. That's where you found self love. It's just what came to my mind was I was kind of losing track of what I was trying to say because this saying came to my mind back when, I was talking about back in, in my past when I was dealing with, depression and stuff like that. And a lot of people deal with that. It is a lot of people deal with that. If they say they're depressed, believe them, please. So, back when I was, and if you want to hear more about that story, go watch my first video. I think I talked about it in my first video. But depression, I feel like what I came to realize in that, and being a big-hearted person, it had a lot to do with being a big-hearted person because it was like I was trying to be who I needed to be for everybody else, then trying to be the person I needed to be for myself. And in that, I was, taking on the beliefs and the thoughts and embodying who it is everybody else wanted me to be for them. And next thing I became somebody I didn't like. I became somebody I couldn't love. And, it was, it wasn't a good place to be, and I realized, the saying, I'm trying to get to the saying. I realized that, depression is just your soul's way of telling you that it doesn't like the identity that you attached yourself to. I'm going to say that again. Depression, what I realized about depression is that it's just your soul's way of telling you that it doesn't like the identity that you've attached yourself to. So, you know what needs to happen? It's going to be scary. It's going to be hard. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be deep. It's going to be life changing and very rewarding, but very isolated at the same time and very sad too. But you already said, might as well go through it, right? If you dealing with depression, um, an ego death. You need to have an ego death. It's not that you want to not live anymore. It's not that. It's more like your soul doesn't want the identity that you're living in to live anymore. So you have to die to yourself and do the work to become the person that you need to be for yourself. And that's usually the person that you wanted everybody else to be for you growing up. If you need help finding your purpose or standing in it, it looks something like that. I I just got like so grateful because it's just, it's a beautiful place to be because then you find your power in that. You find your power and you can stand in that. You can stand in that. And it's nothing like living a life where you can be you. You don't have to show up as nobody else but as who you are, and you continuing to be a better you than you were yesterday. Even if it means you believe one thing yesterday and today you don't. You thought one thing the other day, like, oh, I have a big heart. This is for big hearted people, so I'm trying to stay on, on the subject. Excuse me. But it's like believing you're a big hearted person. And usually big hearted people have been hurt so much because they lack boundaries and non-negotiables. And have no non-negotiables. It's like they find themselves, oh, there's nobody else out here like me with my heart, and nobody understands, and it's going to be hard to find somebody that can love like me, and I'm probably never going to find my person because I have such a big heart. And these people nowadays are just hurt and fake, and hurt people, and fake people hurt people too, because they fake, because they hurt, because they living in a mask and showing up with a mask to give you the version of them, give you their representative, instead of just giving who it is that they are. Like, if you're hurt, just be hurt and be honest that you are. And maybe in that you'll find wisdom and lessons that can help you grow through and get through that, because you're still going to have to live it out. It's not saying that you're going to get wisdom and then boom, you know it. Like, no, the wisdom is there. People who are this channel, it's really gonna contribute to people having a higher sense of consciousness and awareness, right? So it's like being that type of person and knowing, like, that's what you are, and you're on a journey of, self enlightenment, or of enlightenment. Let me just say that, of enlightenment and self mastery. Um, you begin to find that the wisdom itself comes to you, but it doesn't mean just because you have the wisdom you're gonna be perfect or brilliant or good at living out that wisdom. Y'all hear that alarm? If you don't, it's an alarm going off right now, because it's a fact. Confirmation. It's a fact. You're going to have to still live out the lessons within the wisdom. Just because a person has wisdom, it doesn't mean that they perfectly go through life with no problems because they have the wisdom that they need. Yes, to know better is to do better. Yes. So, but doing better is being aware of what to do better with, right? It's having the wisdom to know what to do better the next time, right? So it's important. Like, that's what it is. I just like to talk in reference of sharing wisdom. You know what I mean? Like, because I find it kind of difficult to come by sometimes. And not to say that, I don't come across wise people. It's just that sometimes people are just so for themselves. They don't like to share, life, truth, light, love, wisdom, encouragement, um, speaking life into you. They don't like to share those things because they don't want you to see yourself brighter than you already are. Or that they know you to be, but they don't want you to, they want to keep you humbled. It's not our job to humble people, it's God's job to humble us. And people who are, you know, doing their best following Christ and, you know, gaining the understanding of living in a way that you obtain and can sustain the fruits of the spirit within inside of yourself, you sorry, the light was just like a beautiful moment for that. But it's like you give it to me, God, because the light was just so bright. Maybe that's just the message all in itself. It's like your light shines so bright. You know what I mean? Like it shines so bright and everybody and it'll begin to shine brighter and it will blind people and get people to be like, "Oh, whoa, what's that?" You know, and then forget all about who they are and then so focused on what you are that they get envious, they get jealous and all those things and blah 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 just because they don't want you to see yourself being the best you. That's why it's important to know that what all that matters is what you think of yourself and what God thinks of you. So be that person still having that big heart. It's nothing wrong with having a big heart. You have the heart of God in a way. Like we're getting there. You know, I asked God, I've began to ask God to give me the heart, you know, help me to love what he loves and help me to hate what he hates. And it is a hard thing to ask for. It's a bold, sorry, not hard. It's a bold thing to ask for. But how else am I going to be able to, you know, come to a space in life where, you know, it's closest to living like him if I can't ask that? And he said, asking you shall receive, right? Guard your hearts. He also said that people with big hearts, guard your heart. And in guarding your heart, you have to have strong boundaries and non-negotiables. And boundaries, you know, it's easy to say these things. It's easy to tell somebody to have boundaries and have strong boundaries, but nobody teaches you how. I wish somebody would have taught me how to have boundaries when I was little. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm strong on teaching my daughter that now. But I wish somebody would have, you know, told me that and how to do that. Because boundaries is something you do, not what you say. You can tell somebody all day, "Oh, please don't do me like this. I went through this in the past, and you know, I went through that in the past with this person, and you know, I don't like when people do me like this, or please don't do that to me." You can say those things, but guess what? Nine times out of ten, people are gonna disappoint you, and they're gonna do just that. Ra- ra- Rather they intentionally meant to or didn't. Because it's already bad enough that your fears, you know, if you put enough emotional stimulation into your fears, you're gonna help create them. You know what I mean? Like, so don't do that. Try your best to not put so much of your emotions, the power of your emotions, you know, into your fears because you're just gonna live out self-fulfilling prophecy. And if you want to, you know, get an understanding of that, you can watch the last video. So watch the first video. That's going to help you understand, you know, depression, people dealing with that, you know, and just being yourself and understanding what changes you, what change can you make, which means the change happening inside of you to help change your outer world. So, you know what I mean? Everybody wants to see change, but it starts inside of here, in your mind and in your heart. And then it has to happen in the spirit before it happens in the flesh. It's pretty much the spiritual principle of it. So if you need to understand that, watch the first video. if you need to understand the power and the secret behind your fears and what fear is doing for you, watch my last video before this video. I think it was the last one before this video. You'll see it. It'll say something about fear. But I just came on here to just remind us big-hearted people that boundaries, yes, you need to have them. If you're big-hearted, you need to have them. You need to have boundaries, strong boundaries. And it's not what you say, it's what you do. Which means, yes, you have to stand on it. No matter what, you're going to have to overcome your own emotions. And it's going to take you, it's good because it's a practice of emotional intelligence. A lot of people are brains book smart, but you know, it's two levels of smart. Like, people think like, oh no, I left my emotions out of that situation, I just made it off a lot, I just made that decision off of logic. No, you need to use both. Wisdom says you need to use both. You need to have emotional intelligence, you need to have intellectual intelligence, IQ, EQ. Use both together. You don't just shun your emotions away because you think that they're in the way of you making a logical decision. Sometimes if you are believing in something bigger and greater to happen in your life, logic isn't going to help you all the way. Because tell me some of the things that, Jesus did in life when he was healing people and all that. Where's the logic in that? They was straight up shaming this man, saying, probably accusing him of being, whatever, God knows what. So EQ and IQ is important, especially if you're a person that has a big heart. Work on emotional intelligence. For example, so at that, I'm just going to leave this video at that. And I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did and you're still here, hit the thumbs up button for me so that way, this video can get around to more people who need it. Or share it with someone that you know who have a big heart as well. And again, I'm Lexi, and I'm here for you.